So good evening. Today we'll go for DC motor, and as all of you know that it is a machine which converts the electrical energy into mechanical energy. Actually, how this thing is done in a machine? First of all, constructionally, as I have told you earlier, that constructionally your motor and generator are same. Whatever the construction is there for the motor, the same construction will be there for the generator. And here what happens, we have to give the electrical input. So where will be giving the electrical input? The place where in the generator will be getting the electrical output, at that place will be giving the electrical input. So whenever, see, this is the structure, whenever I will be giving the electrical input to this particular conductor, to armature conductor, then the conductors are now current carrying conductors. So whenever you are giving the supply to this armature conductor, now once the supply is given, this conductor becomes a current carrying conductor. Actually, the principle of DC motor is like that. Whenever a current carrying conductor is kept under the influence of a magnetic field, then a force is experienced by that particular conductor. Actually, it is as per Fleming's left hand rule. So this is the case. This is actually Fleming's left hand rule. What happens? See, suppose I so now this one will be working by Fleming's left hand rule. Actually, how this rule will be applied, as all of you know, whenever a current carrying conductor is placed inside a magnetic field, a force is experienced on that particular conductor. So how actually Fleming's left hand rule will be acting here, you can just see. Now so far Fleming's left hand rule is concerned, now this one is direction of thumb, this one is the direction of middle finger, and this one is, so now you can see this particular forefinger is directed in this way. This is the direction of magnetic field. As you can see, from north pole to south pole it will be developing, and this is direction of your electric current. See, if I'll be going to this side, actually this one is satisfied by this particular side. So here this is the direction of electric current, and what is this one? This is actually the direction of force. This is the direction of force. So now you can see that for this side the direction of force is outside the plane of paper. Whenever it is outside the plane of paper, it is denoted by dot mark. Whenever, if you will go for this one, it is just opposite. How it will be there? It will be like this. See, this is the direction of electric current, this is the direction of magnetic field, and this is the direction of your force. So once it is inside the plane of paper, then ultimately it is denoted by cross mark. So for under north pole, you have the cross mark, means the motion of the conductor is towards the plane of paper, and under south pole the motion of the conductor will be away from the plane of paper. So as many number of conductors will be there, there will be two sides, like one side will be to north pole, one side will be there to south pole. And under north pole the force will be acting towards the plane of paper, and from south pole, under south pole, the force will be acting away from the plane of the paper. Then ultimately one kind of, see, one this kind of motion is created, one this kind of motion is created. So whenever you have a this kind of motion, one side will be away, one side will be inside, then ultimately it will be producing a turning effect. So finally, once it will be producing a turning effect, this particular conductor will be rotating. So now you have seen that how the force, whatever according to this principle, how the force on this particular conductor will be making the conductor to rotate. So this is all about a very simple principle. So this is all about the DC generator principle. Okay. So next we'll go to the most important part of DC generator, that is DC motor, that is what? Back EMF. Actually, what is actually back EMF? See, what is back EMF? Now please listen it carefully. Whenever you are giving, originally you are giving a supply, due to that supply there is a flow of current through this particular conductor. At the end, what we have seen, that the conductor is rotating. So whenever the conductor is rotating, just remind the generator, it is a kind of generator action now. once it is rotating, then ultimately you can see that after rotation, whenever there is a rotation of a conductor under the influence of magnetic field, then there will be induced EMF in that. So now as per Lenz's law, we know that whatever the EMF is induced, that is always opposes the cause which will be producing it. So what is the cause of this one? The cause is the supply voltage. So here first you have to give the supply. Due to that supply the current is created. Due to that current, this one will be current carrying conductor. Again the current carrying conductor under magnetic field, it will be rotating. Once it will be rotating, again there will be induced EMF in this one, like your generator. Okay, so that generated EMF will be, as per the nature, as per the direction of generated EMF, it will be opposing the cause. So what is the cause for this one? The cause is the supply voltage. So as the induced EMF in a DC motor opposes the supply voltage, that is why that induced EMF is known as back EMF. So there it is known as generated EMF in DC generator, here it is known as back EMF in case of DC motor. Okay, so now it is just opposite. See how exactly it happens. Suppose I will be taking, see, so far the types are concerned, whatever the types will be there for generator, the same types will be there for the motor. So now the point is, if you have a generator, you have already seen this diagram for the generator. In this diagram what you have seen, that here we have the generated EMF, it will be producing, suppose you have taken a Shunt generator. Okay, so here it will be producing the current, that is the armature current in the generator, that will be flowing in the load, and finally there will be the load voltage. Similarly here you have the Shunt field current. Okay, but in case of motor what happens, see, motor, where you have to give the supply, I told you where there will be getting in generator, wherever will be getting the output voltage, now you have to give the input voltage from those terminals. So here we are getting the output voltage, now you have to give the input voltage from this side. So now input becomes this one, there input becomes armature part, here input becomes load part. So here we are giving the input, then in armature there will be current, in Shunt field resistance there will be current. Now whenever the current will be flowing through the armature conductor, then only there will be back EMF, then only it rotates. After rotation the back EMF is produced. So here the back EMF is created like this, there the generated EMF was developing like this, here the back EMF is created like this. Okay, so if I'll be going for voltage equation for this one, see, there we had generated EMF has this formula. Here also the process of creation of back EMF is same as the process of creation of generated EMF. That is why the expression for back EMF is also same as the expression for generated EMF. It is same as Pn phi z by 60A. Now the point is, what will be the voltage equation here? The voltage equation will be how much? Eg as equals to V plus IARA, because Eg is generated here. Now here what will be the voltage equation? V is supplied, so V will be equals to how much? That will be IARA plus EB. So V will be equals to EB plus IARA. So this is the expression for voltage in case of your DC motor. So this is the expression for voltage in case of your DC generator. So now we'll go to the speed control of DC Shunt motor. So what is actually speed? Whenever the motor rotates, it will be rotating with a particular speed. How to determine actually that speed? Okay, so as per your syllabus, you have speed control of DC Shunt motor. So how to find it out? See, how on what factor actually speed will be depending, first you have to understand. See, already you have seen earlier that back EMF equation is this one. In place of PB, I can write Pn phi z by 60A, that is equals to V minus IARA. So what is the N here? Because what is actually N? That is nothing but the speed. P is the number of pole, constant. Phi is the flux per pole. Z is the number of conductor, constant. 60 is a constant. A is the parallel path, number of parallel path. It is also constant for a particular kind of machine. So N we have this much. This is the expression for N from this expression. So now we can write that N is proportional to EB. What is this one? EB, because all these are constant except phi, and it is inversely proportional to phi. Clear? Where is EB? How EB is related? EB is related to armature. Phi, where is phi? Phi is here. Phi is actually the flux which is created in the field winding, that is known as phi. So is inversely proportional to phi. So now That means through armature circuit we can change the speed, through field circuit we can change the speed. So whenever we are changing the speed through armature circuit, it is known as armature control. Whenever we are changing with respect to field circuit, it is known as field control. So we have either armature control or field control method. So see, what is actually armature control? In armature control, what you have to do, as we have already seen, that this is actually the diagram of a shunt generator if this one is not there. So now what I will do, in the armature circuit along with the armature resistance we are adding a control resistance here. So what is the working of control resistance? This can be varied. It can be varied from minimum to maximum, from 0 to maximum. It has a maximum value. So whenever we will be changing this one, see, as already we have seen that N is proportional to EP. What is EP? V minus IARA. So whenever RA, that means along with RA path we are adding a new resistance, that is RC. So now RA is becoming RA plus RC in this connection. So whenever this part is increasing, ultimately we can say that total part will be decreasing. So when the total part is decreasing, we can see that speed will be again decreasing. That means to reduce the speed from its normal speed, we'll be using what? Armature control method. We can get the speed lower than the normal speed in this particular method. So next one is flux control method. Exactly the same process what I will be doing here. Flux where it is created, on which flux the rotation will be depending, the flux in the field winding. So here you have the field winding in case of your shunt motor. So now what you have to do, exactly like your previous case, will be adding a new resistance in this particular path. So whenever a new resistance will be added in series with this particular one, then what happens? Now we can say that the total resistance in this particular path will be increasing. So when the total resistance in this path will be increasing, the flux ultimately will be depending the current. If the current will be more, flux will be more. So once the resistance value will be increasing here, so the value of the current will be decreasing. So as the current will be decreasing, then what happens? The flux will be decreasing. So when the flux will be decreasing, here you have decrease amount of flux. Then the speed will be increasing. As this one will be decreasing, speed will be increasing. So as the speed will be increasing, so what we can get? To increase the speed above the normal speed, will be using the flux control method or field control method. Okay, so these are two speed control methods used in DC shunt motor to control the speed.